All right, time for another episode of Army Life on Saturday. It's quite a cool Saturday morning. It's kind of cool out here. I think summer is finally over. I had to fire up the heater this morning. I haven't done that in a while. We're in Germany, right? Yes, we're in Germany. We're going to talk about Gluhwein. I keep calling it Gluhwein, but it's actually pronounced Gluhwein. It has the umlauts over the U. So it's Gluhwein. And I'm going to put the link to the recipe right here. The recipe that I'm putting here serves 12 to 15 people. It's, heated red wine with some brandy, cinnamon, mace, allspice, cloves, sugar, and then garnished with lemon or orange. So right there, you've got to have it. It's good stuff. I drank it when I was on the second trip to Germany. I went to a city called Darmstadt, and it was a smaller town. It was kind of a big city, but it was smaller than Frankfurt, much smaller than Frankfurt, and farther south. And I got there about Christmas time. It was about the winter time when I got there, and there was snow everywhere, and everybody was drinking Gluhwein. It's a hot wine, spiced and sweet. Oh my God, it's so good. If you live in the Midwest somewhere where you're going to get a lot of snow this Christmas, you've got to make Gluhwein. Sit on the porch where the snow is out in your yard and drink that hot wine. Oh, it's so good. We've got a few stories I guess I could tell you about. One of them in particular was this. Now, the NCAA has basketball championships every year. They have like the Power 16, or the Super 16, the Super 8, the Final Four, that stuff. And so Kentucky State was in this particular year in the Final Four or Super 8, one of those. And in Germany, you get everything a day late. In other words, if they play the game on Tuesday night, you don't find out until Wednesday night because you get the Stars and Stripes newspaper. You can find out if you get the newspaper in the morning. You find out the next day in the Stars and Stripes newspaper. Unless you watch the game on Armed Forces Network or listen to it on the radio. Now, this particular year I'm talking about where the story happened was when we were in a field exercise. Now, when you're in the field, our commander and our first sergeant said no radios in the field, no television, nothing. Okay, he says we're in an Army field exercise. They don't have, Walkmans in combat, or that's what he told us. So we weren't allowed to have any of that stuff. So our news and all of that came through the Stars and Stripes newspaper, which we got delivered every night at dinner. At dinner, they would put a stack of Stars and Stripes newspapers in the mess facility and mess tent, and whoever wanted a newspaper would go in there and you can grab a free newspaper. Tuesday night, I think it was a Tuesday. We'll just say it was a Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday. But Tuesday night, the game happened. Kentucky State played. The next morning, we're all going in for breakfast. All the guys who were getting up in the tent, we brush our teeth and stuff, and we go to breakfast. Stars and Stripes newspaper doesn't come till dinner, Wednesday night. But this is Wednesday morning. So this guy's in there, he's talking about, yeah, man, boy, that game was great. Kentucky State took it. And we go, dude, calm down. No, we're supposed to have radio and stuff in the field. He goes, hey, I'm in like Flynn with the captain, man. He was the commander of me. We see eye to eye. Don't worry about it. So the captain comes in. He sits down. He goes, hey, good morning, soldiers. We go, sir. And we're all eating it. And he goes, okay, sir. He goes, what are you all excited about? Kentucky State. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He goes, yeah, that's going to be a pretty good game. We'll find out tonight who won when we get the paper. He goes, no, sir. I heard it last night. Kentucky won. Heck yeah, sir. I think he said something like the score was 87-61, sir. They kicked butt. He goes, how do you know that? Well, sir, I heard the game. And after we finished breakfast, the commander walked over to him. He goes, let's take a trip. Let's take a walk. What, sir? Let's take a walk. So they went down to the guy's tent, made him pull out his Walkman, and he goes, couple of options here. I can take it and give it back to you after the field exercise, and you can get an Article 15 for disobeying my lawful order not to bring that. Or I can donate it to the company fund for Christmas auction off or something like that, right? I don't remember exactly what he said. He goes, but sir, he goes, couple of options, A or B. He goes, just take it, sir. We're all laughing at the guy. We're like, can you say loser? Can you say dumbass? It was funny, man. We were all walking up to the guy like, so you're in like Flynn with the commander, huh? Eye to eye. It was so funny, man. But that's how, some of the people that you're in the Army with, I mean, are like, and I'm not knocking Army people, but some of them are just like, I don't know, man. Is there anybody home? McFly. We had this first sergeant, and his name was First Sergeant Grimes. And he was he was a nice guy to talk to. I mean, you could sit and have a conversation with the guy. I was reading a religious book one day and on holiness, and he just started asking me questions about it. We just talked for a while. But I'll tell you what, he was one of those guys that if something didn't go his way, no. I was in Germany when Operation Desert Shield kicked off, and it later became Desert Storm. And I got to tell you this first sergeant story real quick. So the first sergeant tells me, he goes, hey, go down, inspect the troops, and once you inspect them, get them on the trucks and get them out to their posts, and then come back up here. I got some equipment to give you to disperse to them throughout the night, like flashlights and batteries and stuff. That's all right, first sergeant. So I go down, I do the inspection and everything. Motorcycle. So I go down and I do the in-ranks inspection, right? And then I release them to be taken to their posts because we had two drivers. They would get on two trucks. One driver would go this way, one driver would go that way. They'd go in a circle around and deliver these guys to their post for a guard duty. So I go back up and I tell him, I'm here for the equipment stuff. And he goes, fine, we're going to go down and do an in-ranks inspection, Sarge. And I go, well, I did that first. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, they went like, you goddamn, and he gets in my face. I go, first sergeant, you need to back up. No, that ain't sergeant. I go, no, hey. I go, first sergeant, you told me to go do an in-ranks inspection and get them their posts. And he looks at me right in my eyes, man. He's pissed the hell off. And he did tell me that. But what it was, he's so wrapped up in everything, he said something and forgot what he said. He forgot what he told me. And so when I come back up, he had this plan that he wanted to go down and do the in-ranks inspection, but he got so wrapped up in what he was doing, he just blurted it out. Go do an in-ranks inspection and get them on their post. And he forgot that he said that. That's what kind of first sergeant this guy was. He'd just get unrattled, and he'd say something to you, forget what he said, and then he had this plan to follow, and he fucked it up because he already told you to do it yourself. And he was just a very emotional guy. He roller coasted on his emotions. So he was a nice guy to talk to at times, and other times he was an asshole. And that's just how this guy was. I mean, and I wouldn't take nothing from him. I mean, I would come right back at him, and he did not like it. He did not like it. But I was always respectful to his rank. Yes, first sergeant, no first sergeant. But as a man-to-man, when he'd get in my face, I wouldn't back down. I wouldn't back down. I'm a sergeant, non-commissioned officer, and I'm not supposed to back down per se. In other words, what I mean is, if the first sergeant was right and I was wrong, I would humble myself and say, yeah, I know first sergeant. Yes, first sergeant, I really screwed that one. But if he screwed up, I'm not backing down. Because it was a matter of professionalism, and maybe somebody can glean from this that when you're a sergeant, another sergeant gets in your face. If that sergeant's wrong, I had a sergeant walk up to me one day, and he was higher ranked than me, and we were cleaning our weapons after we had just got back, and the sergeant there wasn't any cleaning rods, and I'm cleaning my weapon. He walks up and he goes, Sergeant, I'm commandeering that cleaning rod. And I'm like, okay, sir. He goes, no, I'm commandeering that. Give me that cleaning rod. I go, Sergeant, I'm cleaning my barrel. When I get done, I'll hand it to you. Now, I'm a sergeant also. I'm a non-commissioned officer. I'm lower ranked than him, but I'm not a private. He goes, Sergeant, give me that cleaning rod, or I'm going to shove this barrel up your nose. I go, you need to at ease that, sir. He goes, did you tell me to at ease? I go, yes, I did. You need to at ease that right now. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, the next day, they're talking about giving me an Article 15 for disrespect. I go, fine. And they go, all you have to do is apologize to this sergeant. I go, I'm not apologizing to shit. And then he came up to me, and he's like all in my, getting mad. And I go, Sergeant. He goes, we've never had a problem before, Sergeant. I go, no, I know we haven't. I go, but let me tell you something. I go, if you want to come up and ask me, can you have something when I'm finished with it, fine. But if you want to come up and tell me you're going to shove something up my nose if you don't commandeer this, I said, no. So it was kind of an interesting time, there. And some of the sergeants tried to abuse their power. But when you're wrong, I don't care what your rank is. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And I can respectfully, to your rank, stand up to you. You can actually stand up to somebody higher rank than you without disrespecting them. You can. Should I have told him to at ease that? Probably not. But what I should have probably said was, Sergeant, you're wrong. Do not threaten me. That's what I should have said. So Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So I'm in Germany when Desert Shield kicked off. And I was on duty that night. I was actually on duty that night. Now everybody else is home sleeping in their beds and everything else. But I'm on duty all night long. So I'm by the radio. And George Bush, President Bush, had told Saddam Hussein, you have until this time to, which was actually midnight in Germany. The time that he told him, he may have told him midnight, I don't remember, but I remember the time that George Bush told Saddam Hussein was actually relative to midnight in Germany. So I'm on duty, right, and I've got my little radio there. They had a radio for us to listen to while we were on duty for like the news or music, something to keep us awake, and we had it plugged into the wall on the desk. So right at midnight, I'm sitting there listening, and I hear, and there they go. The jets are leaving the tarmac now. And I'm like, what? And I'm listening, and they go, the jets are in the sky. They're now flying sorties, which are combat missions. I'm like, and then all of a sudden, 15, 20 minutes into it, you hear this, boom, 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 and Baghdad is now being fired upon. I'm like, whoa, shit. And so you can actually hear the bombs in the background going on, boom, 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 because they had a relay to some news guys that were actually there down in Baghdad, and you can hear the bombs going off behind them, boom, 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 like, whoa, shoot. And then later I had to report over to the day room where they had the television on. They had a bunch of colonels in there, because I was actually in a command center. It was the Army Air Defense Command, 32nd ADCOM, Army Air Defense Command. And so you had all these colonels from the different departments, the G1, the G2, the G3, the G4. And they were all sitting there watching, and they had the chief of staff and all them. And then they're watching the news, and you can see the bombs coming down and hitting Baghdad. And they're just lighting up the city. It was remarkable. And some of the sergeants were running around, we're at war, we're in combat, what are we going to do? And I said, Sarge, calm down. And people were losing their heads. One sergeant goes, look, we're all scared. I go, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. What are we scared of? I had to. Now, they had these booklets called Winning in... What's flashing? Oh, I got 4 minutes and then my DVD ends. Now, they had these booklets that we sent over to the troops that were in Saudi Arabia in the combat, in the zone, the war. It was actually a war. But we had Winning in the Desert and Surviving in the Desert. And because I was in I forget what it's called. I was in the administration division, and I actually had got assigned, and it wasn't my job. I got actually misassigned, but they kept me there, and so I had to work in distribution. It was something in distribution, but we were the ones that copied all the forms for everybody, and so we ran the copier machine for the whole friggin' command. And I had to make 10,000 copies of Winning in the Desert and 10,000 copies in Surviving in the Desert. Yeah, 20,000 copies of this freaking book that was like 4 pages long. So I made 80,000 freaking copies or whatever. But and it wasn't at one time. It was over like 5 or 6 days it took us to do that. We were running that copier machine 20 hours a day. That sucker was burning up. But that was remarkable, and I got a few more stories on that, but I've got to end this. So hey guys, Come back next week. I got more stories for you about Germany.